And welcome to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. Today our guest is Tony Murnane from the Apostolate for Mary's Messages, and today we'll be discussing the goings-on in Medjugorje, a little village in Bosnia-Herzegovina where Our Lady has been appearing since June 24, 1981. I've been there 4 times myself, and Tony's been there 3 and has been giving many talks all around Australia and even in England and Ireland on this topic. Welcome to the program, Tony.
Mirella, great to be here.
It's great to have you. Now let's start with the beginnings of these apparitions. Let's let our viewers know how it actually started and what happened.
Yes, well, as you mentioned, Mirella, June 24, 1981, Our Lady first appeared, and she has been appearing every day since, extraordinarily. But on the second apparition of the first day, she appeared holding a little baby, the baby Jesus, and she was covering and uncovering this little baby. She was dressed in a long grey lucid type dress. She was wearing a white luminous veil. She was standing on a cloud. The 12 stars were over her head. She has rosy cheeks, dark hair. She looks to be something like a 20-year-old. And the visionaries say that the beauty of the Blessed Mother is beyond anything that they've seen before. And they also say that her eyes are a light blue colour, and that they're beautiful and expressive, tender and kind. Yeah. And she's very much coming as a mother to the visionaries. As we as Catholics know, Jesus gave Our Lady to us as our mother. When he was on the cross, and she is the spiritual mother of every one of us, whether we're Catholic, whatever religion. Jesus gave his mother to us, to everyone, as our mother, and she very much comes as this mother. But it's also a very real, palpable way in which she appears. She actually appears three-dimensionally to the visionaries. So not only are they seeing her, they've been able to touch her. Yeah. There are actually occasions where the visionaries have actually embraced her as like the Blessed Mother coming from where we go to when we die into our world. And these visionaries have actually been able to embrace her. And one of the other aspects of these apparitions as well is the visionaries where they've been appeared to all these years, and it is something like, it's almost 29 years since she first appeared. They simply don't tire of this at all. And they say the highlight of their day, and she appears normally around 6:40 p.m. in the summertime. I think it's 5:40 p.m. in the wintertime, depending on whether there's daylight saving or not, effectively. Yeah. And this is very much the highlight of their day when she appears. And in fact, they say this experience is so wonderful that it can take hours to recover, to come back into our, let's say, ordinary old world as such, compared to this experience of heaven every day. And in fact, when through the years, I mean, originally she was appearing daily to 6 visionaries. Now 3 of the visionaries no longer receive the daily apparitions, although they do have apparitions from time to time through the year, those visionaries. But 3 of the visionaries still receiving daily apparitions, and one of those visionaries, Ivan, who, I mean, you stayed at his place in Medjugorje.
Yeah, I stayed there for a week.
And you've actually done an interview with him as well.
Yes, I interviewed him on Channel 31, and I stayed in the apparition room for 7 episodes.
Yeah, right.
7 days when he had his apparition, I was there. It was really, really like heaven on earth. It was beautiful.
No, sure. So, so this is, it really is like heaven coming to earth. I mean, Our Lady, it is very much part of church history that Our Lady has appeared at various places around the world. Fatima is a very famous apparition. Lourdes in France, where Our Lady appeared in 1858. There are many through the years, various places all over the world, but there's been really none like Medjugorje to, I mean, Our Lady in Fatima promised the triumph of her Immaculate Heart, that there would be an era of peace to come to our world. We haven't reached that yet, but she promised that. Now, in the when that promise was given at Fatima, that her Immaculate Heart would triumph and there would be a period of peace to come, who would have dreamed before that era of peace came that she would be appearing every day at this particular given apparitions? We couldn't have dreamed that possibility up. Sure enough, it's happening. And look, so many millions of people have been to the place now. I mean, with Medjugorje, it's been actually affecting people
converted, and even people
all over the
from
planet.
different religions have all converted as well. Not that that was, no one's telling anyone to do that, it's just come from their own heart. It's quite a powerful place, isn't it?
That's
you can
right.
feel the presence, the peace there.
Conversions coming, there have been many conversions of people from, a given religion into the Catholic faith, but one very strong form of the conversion is of Catholics who have been right away from the practice of the faith, who have come back in a very strong way. It's almost like where previously, the Lord had been at the periphery or right at the edge of their lives, or not in their lives at all.
Yeah.
And as a result of Medjugorje, it's like God has come right back into the centre of their lives. I mean, in our world today, there is so much disbelief penetrated our society. And I mean, we here in Melbourne, I think it was probably 5-6 weeks ago, had an atheist conference. People who don't believe any of this. And many people in our Western societies have drifted right away from belief in God, the practice of any religion, and nearly all of these people who actually have Christian heritages, people whose parents, grandparents or great-grandparents were believers, but the belief has been dissipating from generation to generation. And here, through Medjugorje and through other apparition sites, Our Lady's been bringing many of these people back when the reality of these apparitions is happening and the wonderful nature of what's occurring here. Our Lady coming, and through the years she's been delivering just beautiful messages of encouragement to her children, drawing them back to God. And Mirella, I know you're very familiar with so many of the apparitions. You look at them very closely, take them to heart. And,
we'll have to continue actually on this topic. We'll have to go to a break now, but we'll continue with this. You're watching Spirit of Life. We'll be back very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. If you've just joined us, we're here with Tony Murnane, who works for the Apostolate for Mary's Messages, and we're discussing Medjugorje, where Our Lady has been appearing in Bosnia-Herzegovina, a little village, and we hope you're enjoying the program. Welcome back, Tony.
Thank you, Mirella.
Now, before the break, we were just talking a little bit about what's happening in Medjugorje. What are some of the things that make people believe? Has there been miracles, or have there been things to convince skeptics, or why are so many believing and so many converting? What is the power, do you think, in your experience?
Yeah, it's a very good question, Mirella. Look, right from the very early days at Medjugorje, people began to come in droves, and people don't do that for no reason, but really in large numbers right from the early days. I think on day 3 of the apparitions, there was something like 3,000 people there to observe the visionaries during their apparition on Mount Podburo, Apparition Hill. Within, I think by day 5, it was 15,000 people, and within days of that it was 30,000 people. So the numbers grew right from the start. One of the reasons is that people were seeing extraordinary evidence of the fact that these visionaries were telling the truth when they said Our Lady was appearing. Now, one of the first signs that was seen is on 3 of the first 6 days, Blessed Virgin was appearing on Mount Podbrudale. She was up the hill when she first appeared, the visionaries at the base of the hill. Now the Blessed Mother beckoned the visionaries up to her. Now instead of walking up the rocky, windy path as they would normally have to do, it's quite a rocky sort of area, as you know, on those hills, the visionaries were actually seen to glide up the hill. They're up there in something like 2 minutes flat. Now, many hundreds of people saw that, and in fact, there's a lady living in Melbourne now who only been living here for a short period of time, but prior to that, lived all her life in Medjugorje. And she was in Medjugorje when these apparitions first occurred, and quite fairly recently, I asked her, when those apparitions first occurred, and the visionaries were reported to be like gliding up the hill in this way, did she see that? She said, yes, she did. She said it happened. She saw it. Now, with a phenomenon like that occurring, people are going, the word is going to get around and people are going to respond as they did. Also, on a number of occasions, the word MIR was written in the sky. Now, on one or two of those occasions, I think it was gold luminous lettering in the sky.
Which means peace, for those who don't know.
Exactly.
In Croatian.
That's it. And Our Lady, the Blessed Virgin, comes to Medjugorje as the Queen of Peace. And here, the word peace written in the sky. Also, I think within the first month or so, a certain point, there's like a fire was seen on Apparition Hill where Our Lady first appeared. And there was concern about the nature of this fire, that it might break out and spread. And at a certain point, it was all over. I mean, the emergency services were coming along to help, tackle the problem. And at a certain point, it was all over. And when they went up to see where this fire had supposedly been burning, there was no evidence of a fire at all. It's almost like the burning bush where Moses appeared to by God in the burning bush. Really, a similar sort of miracle to that. And I think early days, the miracle of the sun was occurring as well, where people were able to stare at the sun for an indefinite period of time without any damage to their eyes or without any discomfort. Now many, many thousands of people, probably hundreds of thousands of people have seen that miracle.
I saw that.
You've seen that?
Yeah, I saw that.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
They're actually able to stare at the sun for no damage to the eyes, no discomfort. What actually, as you would know, Mirella, is what happens there is initially when you look at the sun, there's a large glow. Then through the glow comes initially you see the sun as it is, then a large glow, and through the glow comes like what looks like the communion host, surrounding the host a rim of light which is either rotating or pulsating, surrounding that either a rose colour or the colours of the rainbow. I mean, there have been quite a number of variations of that. Sometimes it's moved around. I've only seen it fixed. But sometimes it has moved around, like images of maybe Our Lady beside it on some occasions and so on. A number of variations, but the same basic miracle.
And also people's rosary beads have gone to the colour of gold. Not literally gold rosary beads, but from silver chains they went to gold. Mine did.
Yours did too?
Yes, quite a few of them.
Again, thousands of people it's happened to.
Millions,
Now, I've actually got a scientific background. I taught chemistry, biology and mathematics, and I like to look at that one from the scientific perspective. In fact, I like to look at all the miracles from the scientific perspective, having studied science and taught science. And with those rosaries changing gold, I mean, some people could say, well, look, maybe it's the surface of the rosary just sort of wearing away, exposing a gold coloured undersurface. I mean, who knows whether there's a miracle or not, but I can assure you, now, and maybe that's the case, if you've got a change of colour over a period of like 6 months, 8 months, a year, well then maybe it could be the silver surface wearing away, exposing a gold coloured undersurface. But if you've got the links on rosaries and they change suddenly from a silver colour to a gold colour, That can't happen.
Yeah.
That is impossible.
Yeah.
And it's happened to thousands of people who have been to Medjugorje.
And bought brand new ones as well. They haven't had a chance to wear out.
Yeah, right. Well, here we go. The Lord making it loud and clear for you exactly what was happening there. And I know it would have touched your heart because it touches the hearts of so many people. When they see the Lord working this extraordinary, beautiful miracle on their own rosary beads. So it's a very personal miracle to each of the people involved.
We'll have to go to a break though, but we'll continue again on this topic.
Okay.
You're watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us. We'll be back very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. If you've just joined us, our guest is Toni Murnane from the Apostolate for Mary's Messages, and we're discussing Medjugorje, Our Lady appearing in Medjugorje, a little village in Bosnia-Herzegovina. She's been appearing there since June 24, 1981 and still is today. Welcome back to the program, Toni.
Thank you, Mirella.
And with these visionaries, they've actually had the benefit and the grace to see heaven, hell and purgatory. Not all of them, but some of them. Can you tell us a little bit about what you know of this?
Yeah, this is quite extraordinary. I mean, I think they've all seen heaven. I think 5 of them have seen purgatory, 4 of them have seen hell. 2 of them were actually, they say, 2 of the central visionaries. Vicka, one of them, probably the most popular of the visionaries, that one of the beautiful big smilers, she speaks to people as they go through Medjugorje. She's spoken to hundreds of thousands, probably millions of people. She's very popular visionary, and she's very much got her feet on the ground as well. She just says it as it is when she's conveying what she has seen. Yep. And also, Yakov was the other one. They had an extraordinary experience on this given occasion. In fact, they were at Yakov's mother's house. Yeah, Yakov's house with his mum at the time. So Yakov, his mum, and Vicka. And at the time, Yakov's mother had gone into the other room. They just lived in a little, simple, 2-roomed house in Medjugorje. And Yakov's mum was in the other room preparing a meal for he and Vicka. And then Our Lady appeared. And she told them what was about to happen. She told them she was going to be taking them to heaven, hell and purgatory. And initially little Yakov was uncertain about this. He thought, well, gee, go off and mightn't get back. He wasn't too sure about going himself, but he said, look, you take Vicka, she'll be okay, but he wasn't sure about going himself.
Yeah, because he said, she's got more brothers and sisters, I'm the only one.
That's right. And he was only a little 11-year-old at the time, so anyway, happy to send Vicka off, but a bit unsure about going himself. Anyway, they eventually got to the point where they both agreed, yes, they were going to go with Our Lady. The Blessed Mother came between them, they say, took them, each of them by the hand, and they say that it's like the roof opened up and they went up to heaven. And they had this extraordinary vision. Well, they say they were there. I mean, at one stage, Vicka was asked the question, look, you were in heaven, did you see the people in heaven? She was asked the question, did they actually see you? You were there. And she said, yes, they did. We were actually in heaven. We saw the people there and they saw us. And
they said they were walking, singing and praying, and there was an unmistakable joy, an amazing joy and light that they've never seen. And
people, I think they were saying that everyone looked to be something like 30 years of age.
Yeah.
Everyone was very, very beautiful. Yeah. Dressed in, I think...
pink, yellow and grey.
Yep.
Cloaks or something.
And, but it was a wonderful, positive experience. I said they saw a light glowing in heaven they haven't seen here on earth before. They saw colours in heaven they have never seen anywhere here on earth before. But overall, everyone in heaven very, very happy. There are angels, they saw angels. So like the classic, there are many visionaries and saints through the years who have seen heaven. And this is what these visionaries of Medjugorje have seen is absolutely in line with that. And on top of that, they saw purgatory, where people have a level of suffering before they go to heaven, and also they saw hell, which really was an horrific experience, because people there, yes, they're suffering eternally and they're suffering extremely. There are many visionaries and saints through the years have seen that, and what these the visionaries in Medjugorje experienced and saw was absolutely in line what so many other saints have seen. And in fact, the reality of that, there have been many conversions come as a result of people hearing about the reality of what these visionaries have seen of heaven, hell and purgatory. And with many people, it's actually the hell bit that got them. And it's actually the one that hit me between the eyes when the reality of this was coming through, when these descriptions were being given of hell, and it resulted in me, and it's resulted in many, many people coming back to the church, starting with confession of their life. One of the wonderful fruits of Medjugorje, as we discussed earlier, is so many people coming back to God, the conversions, and it's starting in the confessional, when the realities of the eternity that lie beyond this life come through. The first thing so many people want to do is get into the confessional, because with most people, they don't want to go to hell, they want to go to heaven. And that was my motivation for getting into the confessional, a confession of my life. And it's the turning point, and it's the start of like a whole new sort of direction in life. I know years ago, I actually came from, I was, well, somewhere between agnostic and an atheist, but I really didn't believe in God. And I was actually living with the concept, the idea that when this life was all over, there's nothing, oblivion. And I can tell you it's not a pleasant way to live. Now, since coming back to a belief in God, in fact from studying the miraculous, I've actually, it puts a whole new perspective on life, gives you hope, because when I was living in the belief that there was nothing after this life, I was living without hope.
Yeah.
I mean, and after coming back to a belief in God, not some fanciful belief, but belief based on very solid evidence and a lot of it, then I really had a whole new life. Once then at peace with God, and the knowledge that we really are headed towards an eternity with Him, an eternity in heaven, this wonderful place, life just takes on a whole new meaning. It's so much more positive, our existence. Gives us purpose, and
we'll have to finish here, but we'll continue on another episode with you. But it's just wonderful. It's wonderful that you came on the program, Tony, but we'll continue another time. There's so much to talk about this.
There is.
Thank you for coming. You've been watching Spirit of Life. I hope you enjoyed the program. I'm Mirella Rich, and our guest was Tony Murnane from the Apostolate for Mary's Messages, and the discussion was on Medjugorje, a little village in Bosnia-Herzegovina. Bye for now.
Bring it to birth and blow.